Sarah?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Dana. I'm one of the estheticians here. Julie told me you needed a consult.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I must have messed something up on the online appointment. So I scheduled and I thought it was today and it's literally the 23rd. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, I have your picture here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you get to see that.
Yeah.
So that is I'm 39. I was probably 17 or 18.
Okay.
And I let someone practice.
Okay.
Anyway, so everything is pretty much black except for the cherubs are a nude color, and then you can see that purplish.
Yep.
In there was names. Terrible idea, but so they kind of help blur
that
a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, and then has it faded at all over time?
I mean, I think the black was definitely well, maybe not. I mean, it's still pretty clear for what it was.
Right, and for being 20 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, but not a crazy amount of fading or anything like that.
Gotcha. And then is this in your hip? Where is this located?
That is my lower center of my back.
Lower center back. Okay. I saw a belt, but I couldn't tell. Lower center back. Okay. And then done, you said, by somebody that was practicing, and was it done in the United States?
Yeah.
Okay. And then last question is, has it ever been raised, or if you rub your finger over, does it seem slightly raised at all?
No, not this one. No,
okay.
I have one on my chest that gets that a little bit, and it's random. I feel sometimes it's there and sometimes I don't feel it. But anyway, it is not
Okay. Okay. So what do you know as far as tattoo removal? Are you familiar with any of it, or do you want me to kind of just start at the beginning and go from there?
I mean, whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, I've read a little bit. My cousin, who lives near me, had gotten it some done, and hers had color, so I guess hers wasn't as easy, but it's done pretty well for what it is. I know you guys have a different, from what I was watching and reading, a different
type of laser
equipment.
Yep.
Yeah. So type of laser. So yeah. So I mean, whatever.
Right. So we use the PicoSure laser here. Basically, if you think of a tattoo as a block of ink in the skin, right? The goal when we're doing tattoo removal is basically to kind of chip away at that block of ink, make them into smaller pieces, and then your body will take those smaller pieces and eliminate it through your regular lymphatic system. Okay. So with other types of lasers out there, what they're doing is they're using heat in order to do this. So they're blasting heat into that tattoo block of ink, creating pebble-sized pieces or whatever, and then your body takes it and gets rid of it. With the PicoSure, we're actually using pressure to do this. So it's using pressure, really a pico of a second, really fast pressure, to kind of go in there and pulverize that block of ink into sand-like particles. The body takes it and gets rid of it. So the PicoSure tends to give a little bit, faster and better clearance at the end of the day, in our opinion, obviously, because it is breaking it down into much smaller molecules than the other types of lasers. Does that make sense? So your body is able to absorb it better and get rid of it better because it's so much smaller than the other type. Okay. As far as the treatment itself, basically it kind of feels and heals like when you get a tattoo, so it's not super fun. How big is this tattoo?
I mean, I would say it's 10 inch.
Would you say it's the size of an iPhone or
Yeah, it's probably not taller than, well, I'm holding the iPhone 10, but it's not taller than the iPhone 10, so that's probably 6. I would say I'd put 6 by 8, but I don't even know that it's that big.
It's that big. Okay, it doesn't look that big to me. Okay, so what was my point of that? So, to treat a tattoo of this size, it would take me probably about 5 to 10 minutes total to treat it. So the good news is it's not fun, but it's really quick. Okay, so we try to stay away from numbing cream if we can, and the only reason why is because the numbing cream, basically the way that it works is it swells the skin up. So then when the laser has to go and actually find the ink of the tattoo, it has to work through that swollen skin and kind of work overtime. So it tends to tack on a couple of treatments, not be as effective as usual. So what we do instead of the numbing cream is we use a really cold air, and we have that going before your treatment and then during your treatment as well to try to keep you as comfortable as possible.
Okay.
Okay. Afterwards, the way that it heals, usually within the first few treatments is like the biggest amount of downtime, but you can get some blistering, some scabbing, some crusting, all things like that can happen. And we'll go into more detail when you actually get the treatment, but your basically goal is to just make sure that it doesn't get infected. So you're going to keep it covered, you're going to keep it clean twice a day, you're going to keep it, hydrated with Aquaphor or Vaseline or something along those lines. And that's basically, we usually say keep it covered for that amount of time. I know sometimes with tattoos they say let it air out, but we actually are going to tell you to keep it covered.
Okay.
Okay, you're not going to pick at it, anything like that.
Okay.
Okay, questions so far?
No, so you said 5 to 10 minutes, and forgive me because maybe I didn't write it down. How many treatments do you think for something
So,
like
yes,
that?
I didn't go over that yet. So, how many treatments? No, it's okay. How many treatments kind of depends on a couple different factors. One, how old the tattoo is. Two, the size of the tattoo, the color of the ink, the color of your skin. There's a lot of different factors that go in there. So, unfortunately, I can't give you, like, a specific number because I'm not the one who did the tattoo. I don't know what type of ink they used. I don't know how deep they put the needle. There's a lot of different factors that kind of go in there. So, usually give a range. For something like this, I would probably say about, like, 8 to 12 treatments.
Okay.
It could be less than that. I always just like to kind of estimate a little bit over because you never know. The fact that it was done by like an amateur could be great for us because it means a lot of times they don't put the needle deep enough. But the fact that it hasn't really faded over time, and the lines are kind of, the fact that it's blurred is a good sign, but at the same time, like, it's still pretty distinct. So, there might be kind of a lot of densing in there, but we'll have a better idea after, like, your first or second treatment, really what's going to happen there.
Okay. Yeah. And it was actually because I had work done later by this person, and have a couple other tattoos, so to get them all off my body if I could. But regardless, I remember, like, how, well, it's just the way that, like, there is stuff that I know was deeper, and it's just the way that it was.
Right.
And the black ink is, like, much lighter than from the original.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it started that way, not like a fade reason. It was just.
Okay, yeah, so that's a really good sign. And the fact that it is older is also a good thing working for us, too. So, it could definitely be less than that 8, but I always just like to give you kind of like a range of 8 to 12. It could also be more. We don't know until we kind of go in and see. It also just depends on, your body, how it breaks down the ink and gets rid of it and everything like that, too.
Okay. And then can the same person that's doing that, so I also have, like, well, I'll let you finish the tattoo part. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's fine. So it would be about that. We usually tell people the soonest you could do it would be about 6 weeks apart, but we actually prefer to do it somewhere between 8 to 12 weeks apart, just because what we're seeing is the longer that you wait in between, your body is still kind of breaking down that ink, even though the laser works really quickly. We have some people that wait, like, 6 to 12 months in between, and their tattoo just continues to get better without any treatment. So we usually say at first do, like, 8 to 12 weeks, and then as we get towards the end, we tend to space it out even further than that. So we'd like to just give a heads up. It's not going to be like, oh, in a year from now it's going to be done. It's going to be like a few years of getting these treatments. It's a little bit of a process here for it to really get to where we want it to be. Okay. And then at the end of the day, what is it going to look like? Okay, so there's usually about 3 different options. First would be best case scenario. It looks like nothing was ever there to begin with. Second option is something that we call like a ghost tattoo. So it's kind of like a shade lighter than your original skin tone of like where the tattoo was. That tends to kind of like even out over time. Third is some places you're going to see like a very faint, probably where maybe the ink went a little bit deeper or denser or something like that. Just like almost like a shadow of the tattoo that's like almost looks like underneath the skin. Like it almost looks like, oh, there's like a bruise or something on there. And usually it's a combination of all 3 of those. So some areas may be completely gone. Some areas may have a little bit of a ghost tattoo. Some areas may have a little bit of that ink. It could just be like a little spot here or there. But that's kind of how it looks at the end of the day. Because you're looking to get it completely removed or covered up.
No, I just want to have it. I mean, as much of it can be removed, I would just want it. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I just like to be realistic with people. I don't want you to think like, oh, it looks like nothing was ever there. Like but a lot of times, especially with your skin tone, over time, it just kind of, as the years go on, and your skin, your body tends to keep on eating up that ink and everything, and it tends to look better and better as time goes on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A price quote for this. Let me just do something real quick. So up to about, let's say, you said, I'm sorry, 8 by 6, did you say?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it would be about $290 per treatment for this.
Okay.
And what we do basically is we charge per treatment. If you want it to pay for like 4 up front, then we do offer a 20% price break. So you basically would prepay for 4. Let me give you how much that would be. So basically we'll bring it down to, and then it will bring it down to $232 per treatment. And I think you're definitely going to need 4, so if you can swing that, that's the best way to go. If for some reason you didn't need all 4 of them, then basically what we would do is we would just charge you the full price for however many you did, and then refund you the remaining amount.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is there any chance that you're pregnant or breastfeeding?
No.
Okay. And any chance that you had chemotherapy or radiation within the past 6 months?
No.
Okay. So they're the main contraindications. The other main contraindication is a tan. So, now is kind of a good time to start it because you're not usually in the sun at this time. But during the summer, you just want to be really careful that if you are still getting treatments during that time, you're keeping it covered. I don't care if you're tan everywhere else and have a Band-Aid mark around, a tan line around the tattoo. Just that area cannot be tan. If you come in and you're tan, we cannot treat you.
Yeah, I don't go out in the sun much at all, and I don't wear a toupee, so that would never even be exposed. But regardless, and I'm pale.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's good. For me at least. But okay, so 8 to 12 treatments. Okay, so any questions about tattoo?
No.
Okay.